Spotlight with Shadow, a Canadian dad who's got his finger on the pulse of global entertainment and sports. Each episode features unfiltered conversations with everyday creatives, musicians, wrestlers, filmmakers, and more from every corner of the globe. No fluff, just raw, real stories. This is Spotlight with Shadow, presented by Off the Top Media.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another exciting episode of Spotlight with Shadow. I am your host, That Guy Shadow. I am joined tonight by one of my dear friends, Mike. How's it going, buddy?
I'm doing good, Baylor. How are you?
Oh, I'm doing lovely. You know, it's been a great weekend, and it's been fun and relaxing. So let's dive into it. Let's hear your story of how you became a content creator.
Oh, how I became a content creator. That actually, so in 2018, my parents sold our old house, went to go make a brand new handicap accessible house. For anyone who does know and can't see it, I'm in a wheelchair. So I was living in a medical facility, kind of like an old people's home.
Okay.
And then 2020, when the COVID lockdown happened, I was still in the facility, and I had nothing to do. We were pretty much locked up. I couldn't leave. Nobody could come visit me. And a CNA actually was like, hey, download TikTok. If anything, it will keep you, entertained for hours just watching videos. I then found Self-Bet Wrestling, talking about pro wrestling. I was like, hold up. There's people on here that talk about pro wrestling. This is a passion of mine. So I just started making videos that day.
Okay.
And it just became a thing to entertain myself while I was locked up.
Right. So, like most of us, we kind of got bored at home and made it a thing.
Yeah.
So going prior to that, growing up, your biggest inspirations, because as you alluded to there, you're a wrestling fan.
Yeah.
You create wrestling content. So what is your earliest memory of a match that just hit you and you're like, holy shit, I'm in?
Actually, I just talked about this on Learning the Ropes with Cole TV. It was a match in 1997, a match on Monday Night Nitro, and it was Eddie Guerrero versus his brother Hector. It was a short, 6-minute match, but the way they wrestled and the style they wrestled was like nothing I had ever paid attention to before. I was like, no, this is awesome. This is different. I like this.
Fair.
Yeah.
Okay, so tell me the day in the life of one Mikey. Like, what do you do to keep yourself busy other than content creating? Like, you watch a lot of porn? Like, what do you do, man?
Nice to just slip that in there. That's hilarious. No, so I still live at home with my parents. So it's a lot of spending time with my mom. She does not work. So it's either spend time with her. I'm watching videos on YouTube.
Okay.
Trying to learn things. Think of ways to. I'm always trying to create things for content. So it's like it's always trying to think of ideas. Because I kind of want to make this at some point somewhere where I can financially be stable.
Yeah, I think that's a great goal. I think a bunch of us, including myself, have that dream, right? It's nice to create things that lead somewhere.
Yeah.
Growing up, I mean, we don't have to talk about this if you don't want to. You alluded to living in a facility. Is that something that's been on and off your entire life? Like, what?
Facilities, no. Hospitals, yes. I'm 32 years old. I've had 27 surgeries.
Jesus.
Mathematically, I've spent over half my life inside of a hospital.
Wow. And you were born with this condition, correct?
Yes. Born with a disability called spina bifida. I had my very first surgery when I was a baby, right when I was born. Was right after I was born. I actually ended up in the ICU on a breathing machine. And it just things, the way the disability works, just have to have surgeries every so often. And yeah, so spent most of my life up until 18, 19. I was having surgeries at least once a year, every other year.
Wow. And how long has it been since your last surgery?
My last surgery that had to deal with my disability was my sophomore year of high school.
Oh, so it's been a good decade
It's
or
been a
so.
while, yeah. And that's the crazy part. Like it's been that long since I had my surgery with the hospital, so you can just tell how many surgeries I've had in that short period of time.
Yeah. I mean, we're not going to get into that because one, that's your personal business. Two, it's probably a little too gruesome for this conversation.
Yeah, probably.
Now I see you got a DX shirt back there. Look, I think that's a Stone Cold shirt.
Yes, and a tribute to the Chirp Shoot.
How did you? Is that just something you bought from the shop? Is that something you obtained?
The tribute to the troop shirt is actually a special story. 05, my dad was actually working over on that base. He was working nights though, but he had a coworker / friend who was working with the wrestlers. My dad told him that I was a fan, and he got this and a bunch of pictures behind the scenes for me.
That is really fucking cool.
Yeah.
Excuse me. So DX and Stone Cold, your favorites? Is that just kind of that?
So again, the DX shirt. Yes, DX was one of my favorite factions as a kid. That was a gift from my dad when he drove truck long distance. He bought it for me. That's an original 1998 DX shirt.
Like shit! Not even a mock-up. It's a new one. It's an old school one.
Yeah, that is the original WWF logo DX shirt.
Okay.
Yeah, and the Stone Cold shirt I bought. That came with when I bought the Condemned. That's the Arrive. Yeah, and some of the DVDs came in the special pack, special versions of the DVD came with an Arrive Raise Hell Leave shirt.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Okay. Fuck. Now you got me lost for words, and that's hard to do. So going into your music, you're a big rap enthusiast.
Yeah, got a Snoop Dogg shirt, Death Row shirt. Yeah.
So tell me, where does that love come from? I mean, like the region you're from, heavy in that scene?
Yes.
So tell me about it. Give me some information on it. I'm not too heavy into that rap scene stuff, right? So
we have a lot of great local talent here. It was just something growing up that was always my mom listened to. So it was just like she listened to like Raw Bass and DJ Easy Rock and like Too Short and Tone Oak. And so it was just like music of that, and my dad listened to like heavy metal and rock music. But so the rap music was just something my ears kind of attended to. And then my dad's from New Orleans. So I also grew up listening and knowing about rappers from down there, like Lil Wayne, BG, Juvenile, Mac, guys like Soulja Slim. You're from Canada, you probably never heard of any of these names, but yeah.
Well, Lil Wayne, yeah, come on now.
Yeah, Lil Wayne, yeah, because he's a big name. But yeah, so it was just like something that my ears were like, yeah, I like this music, and it just became like my thing. Yeah, we have a lot of great artists up here. Guys like my brother Mike Phenom, who's been rapping, and someone I've listened. I listened to him when I was in high school before I met him.
No shit, eh? Kind of a full circle moment for you.
Yes, meeting him was a very full circle. Guys like my brother Stewie Newton, who's a great rapper here from the city of Tacoma, Federal Way, Washington. Then a lot of people know about Macklemore. He's from Seattle.
I didn't know that. I know of him. I just didn't know he was from there.
Yeah, he's from Seattle. I actually went to shows before he got popular with Thrift Shop and whatnot. I used to go to shows where he was the opening act, him and his cousin. Then Sir Mix-a-Lot is a rapper from here that a lot of people know. You know, Baby Got Back. Yeah, Baby Got Back. He had a bunch of other hits in the 90s. So yeah, it's a not huge. It's not as big as the grunge thing, because that's what Seattle's known for.
Grunge is born there, right? So
yeah. But yeah, no, we do have a very nice and popular hip hop scene.
Okay, I know you're also into that whole rap battle scene as well, and
yes,
I see you constantly putting out stuff for different boys and stuff like that. Maybe some females here and there, respectfully. Yeah. What does that seem like, being involved in the underground world of it all?
It's great. I got into that because I had a friend in high school who battled. He would do these freestyle battles. We were like 16, 17, and they were doing all age events. And he would, hey, come support me. Okay, cool. And then it just became a thing where I would go all the time, and I just got connected with the right people. And like guys like I said, my brothers Stewie Newen and Mike Phenom, they both battle legends here in the Northwest. Been battling since like the mid 2000s. Guys like my brother Heretic, who runs a league in my the city I lived in before the time my last city I lived in. He runs a league. My brother Boomer runs a league up in Tacoma. Shout out to my brother Rome. He runs a league up in Seattle, Skytier Northwest. My brother Boomer in Tacoma, he runs a league called the Alliance Battle League. And my brother Colin runs a league called 4MCs by MCs. So if you're a battle rap fan and you see this, follow those on YouTube. And it was just become a thing. We would just go and I would watch battles and just hang out with friends. And then get to meet legends that I grew up watching on YouTube. Because there's big battle rap leagues that get millions of views on YouTube. Like there's guys who get paid a lot of money to do that. And I've been blessed and lucky to call a lot of those guys now family.
I mean, that's awesome. Where I grew up in Western Canada, about an hour east of me, the rap scene was big down there. I couldn't name off any names right on the top of my head, but I'm sure if I look through socials, I could tell you, and you could tell me if they made it down that way or not at one point or not. So I get it. It's pretty interesting stuff. I mean, I'm more the Main Street rap. Like, that's what I kind of gathered to. But like, when it comes to like heavy metal, like grunge and stuff, like Nirvana and stuff, I'll dive down to as far as I can go to figure that out.
Yeah.
That's more appealing to me. I don't mind rap. I've never been against it. Just it's not that much appealing to me. So I condone, I applaud the fact that you go so deep with that condone. What a word. No, like that's really cool. So I gotta ask, because you're from the state of Washington.
Yeah.
Does it really rain that much there?
Yes.
Why?
I don't know. I'm not a weatherman, but yeah, it pretty much rains 8 to 9 months out of the year.
I'd rather take that over snow.
We get snow like every few years. Like it doesn't snow that heavy in the winter. I would not take the snow. I couldn't.
You'd be sliding everywhere. So
yeah, I couldn't take living in the snow. I couldn't be living in Canada. No offense, Canadians. I love y'all.
Nah, man. I think if you lived here, we could call it Canadian drift, and you'd be the star.
Funny.
It'd be Jax's next favorite movie. Shout out to Jaxpo.
Yeah.
So you work with a lot of podcasts, including ours here at Rivet City. Tell me about them. What got you struck with these people? Where have you gone with it? And like, because I see you constantly busy, my guy.
Yeah. So when I first started, making content on TikTok, I got connected with Justin, Dad Hat Wrestling. If you go on TikTok, follow Dad Hat Wrestling. That's my brother for life. We started making content literally like on the same day. And so like me, him, Bree Stout, Husky, Shayna, Self-Bet, we just kind of all made a crew of friends to talk about pro wrestling. And it became a connection, a collection of just friends making content. And we've all decided to do podcasting things and build from TikTok and make it on the YouTube and Twitch because we all love this thing called pro wrestling.
Yeah, it's fun. It's a wild.
Yeah,
time.
shout out to Will and we don't
talk about that guy. Just kidding.
And Ethan on the fourth place. It was just.
So let's talk. We've known each other 2.5, almost 3 years now.
Yeah.
Thanks to TikTok and thanks to Wrestle Talk. What are your thoughts on the current, like from then till now, of Wrestle Talk, my dude?
It's gotten bigger. And I mean, it's got its days. And you know me, I'm a very much stay out of the drama kind of person. So I see the bullshit, but like I try to stay out of it and just kind of focus on what I'm doing. Because I mean, any little niche you have, every kind of fandom is gonna have the bullshit.
Of course.
So, yeah. So it's like I see it, but it's like, what are you gonna do? Everything's got drama at some point.
I mean, we've come a long way. I mean, I backed away from TikTok itself. I'm not using the platform as much anymore. Don't really care to. No shot at it. Just it's not the same anymore. Like you said, TikTok or Wrestle Talk, if you will, has gotten big. Great for Wrestle Talk. Terrible for a lot of creators trying to get in now.
Yeah, that's sadly a fact.
You know, if you weren't there in the trenches in 2021, 22,
yeah,
it's hard to break in now and go anywhere with it.
Yeah.
Like, you know, you can put out the best content possible, and it's just not going to get that traction that we all got right off the hop and going.
Yeah, when it was on the ground floor. Yeah. And I didn't even join like right when Wrestle Talk started, of course, but like, yeah, it was a lot easier when I joined.
Oh, I didn't either. Wrestle Talk has been a thing I think for a year or two prior to me even jumping into that loop. So what are your aspirations going forward with what you're doing in podcasting, music, sport, just everything?
With the podcasting stuff, I mean, I'm part of the World Championship Wreckage crew, so I'm doing the best we can there to build that. Justin and Will, started this, and I'm proud of them for starting it, and they brought us all in to do shows on the thing. I'm doing Queen's Court with Husky and the Tribal Queen Breed Stout. We just started doing a show again after a hiatus. I love those two like none other. So build Queen's Court, build the other shows. We got Fantasy Warfare with XOJ. I'm a very loyal person. So it's like, I'm always like, if I make it, my team's going to make it. So I want to build World Championship Wreckage as big as we can. So we all get fed, get paid.
I think they should have called it Wheelchair Championship Wrestling. I digress. I make a joke because we're good like that.
Yeah,
don't do it. I'll beat you up. I don't promote violence, but don't fuck with wheels. So like you've been around almost the entirety of the Off the Top existence. You've seen what me and Scowls have built.
Yeah, that's another crew. You guys are Off the Top and River City Radio. I want to help you guys build as big as you guys can.
But like knowing that Will prior to this thing and me prior to this thing, what was it like your experience watching me, Will, Scowls, and Al come together as one unit?
I was so proud, especially with you, Shadow. I ain't gonna lie, you're a very creative son of a bitch.
I try to be.
Yes, and seeing where you have a talent of talking, and you're very, very like, if I want to get something off my chest, I'm going to get it off my chest. And I think you being a podcaster is a good thing for you.
I mean, it helps. It really keeps my my day-to-day life pretty in check because I can use this platforms to speak. Yeah. And if something's bothering me, I'll tell you.
Yeah. And with Will and Al, entertaining as hell, they have the most creative minds ever. And both are smart as fuck.
Right.
So, like, seeing them two geniuses put this off and skyrocketed, and they're making it a business. And as you know, Will's he can do pretty much anything. That man is, he's beating cancer. He's being a chef. He's,
keeping my ass in check with Scowls.
Yeah. Scowls is someone I haven't known as long as you do. But again, he's become like a big bro to me. He's got a good head on his shoulders, and he seems like he keeps everyone in check. He's like the dad of the group.
No. He's the granddad of the group. Shout out to Scouts and the old man. All right.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I mean, he's got that like, well, we're all being creative when he's the one that keeps us like focused and like, okay, let's do business.
Yeah, he's definitely.
Every crew needs that.
Right. Every crew needs that person that keeps them in, and it's either Al or Scowls that keep me and Will in check. So
facts, and Al scares the shit out of me.
I didn't say this, but she scares me too.
Yeah.
When she speaks, I'm like, okay,
yeah,
we're good. Yeah. So I mean, it's been fun. Like me and you had countless conversations, and I throw jokes at you like no tomorrow, and you take them, man. And I could. I don't get how. I don't get why you're still friends with me. I'm sure you hate me by now.
It's just it was something I learned at a very young age. Because again, being born with a disability, there was always jokes thrown at me, and there's always like, I won't say bullying because kids are stupid and they don't know what they're doing, but there was always like shots, and it's just like, you know what? It's something I can take into my own hands. That's why I started making jokes about myself. It was like, I can turn this into something. Like the Wheelz thing, when my close friends call me Wheelz, that is something I built when I was in high school.
Right.
So it was like, my friends would call me Hot Wheels. That's a whole.
I love that.
Yeah. And that's a story I'll tell you off air.
Well, I got to hear it. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah. So then the Wheelz thing. And then when I came in here to TikTok, my first name was Wheelz Wrestling. I was like, okay, let's just add the disability to me talking about wrestling. Obviously, that is no longer a thing. If you know, you know. Yeah. But yeah, it was just something that like, I'm cool with the jokes. As long as you're not purposely being hurtful and like being an asshole, my friends can make all the jokes they want.
Well, I never set out with malicious intent, and you hear it in my voice when we talk. So, like, I have a cousin. I don't really open up about my personal life, and you know this.
Yeah.
If you know me, you know me, like, and you understand who I am. And I'm not very open to talking about it, but I have a cousin in the same condition as you, and I grew up around him. So I get it, right? Like, that's where a lot of my jokes come from, because watching his friends and him just interact, right? So it's never ill will.
Yeah. And I think people in the wheelchairs are one or two people. They either can take the jokes and make fun of it, or they're bitter and they're angry and they're pissed off at the world because they're in the wheelchair. And I never wanted to be that person.
I feel like the latter of that conversation might due to the fact that maybe they didn't start out life like that.
That too, yeah.
Right. I know I don't judge around here, and
yeah.
But like, I think that's where what you said with the anger and stuff. I think it's people that have ended up in a chair as opposed to starting out in the chair.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, what do you like to do? Like, I know you used to do a lot of TikTok lives. I don't really see you live. Mind you, I don't go on the app, but you're not on lives very much anymore.
No, that's just the people I used to do lives with. They don't be doing on the lives anymore.
My bad.
There's a crew of us that used to hang out every night, and that just doesn't happen much anymore.
It became too politically correct for us to be there.
Yeah.
And it became bad when we all started getting mass reported for nothing. So
yeah, so that's why. It was like, okay, well, my crew isn't going to be on there anymore. I don't need to be TikTok live.
Yeah, we do this now. This is fun.
Yeah.
All right. Favorite console of all time?
PS2.
Why?
I think that had the best line of games. It was the games that I grew up with in like middle school and high school, where I was like really gaming. I don't game that much anymore. Like, I use my PS4 to watch wrestling and like videos on YouTube. Yeah. Like, I don't game that much.
We just gotten old. Favorite game on PS2?
SmackDown versus Raw or NFL Street 2.
Ooh, street games were ahead of their time.
Facts, and they need to bring them back.
I need to play NBA Street Volume 2 again. Like,
yes. The Street Series, the EA Big Series games were great.
I remember sitting up in a basement with the boys and just be like, all right, we're running a tournament tonight. There's like 10 of us there. Let's go. Yeah. And we'd be playing all night. Like,
yeah, no, NFL Street Series, NBA and NFL, phenomenal games.
The soccer one didn't really strike with me. I didn't really care for it.
I've never played that. I'm not really much of a soccer fan, so I was like, I'm not going to stick to the soccer games or play them.
But the football and basketball it felt right? Like,
it did, very much so.
All right. Worst console of all time, in your opinion?
Oh, God. I never had it, but I had a friend who did. I never got into playing the GameCube.
I had one. It was what it was.
Like the two games I ever played on GameCube were two of the worst wrestling games ever.
If you say A Day of Reckoning is either one of those, I'm gonna punch you.
No, WrestleMania 19.
Garbage. 100% garbage.
And ironically, WrestleMania 21.
Yeah, I think they tried too hard with that.
Yeah.
But I think they were trying to do what the PlayStation Xbox were doing with Raw SmackDown kind of thing.
Yeah. WrestleMania 19, the story mode on WrestleMania 19 was crazy and was stupid.
Fair. The best wrestling game I ever played on the GameCube was Day of Reckoning.
Yeah, I never played Day of Reckoning. My friend didn't have that.
That storyline in that was crazy.
Yeah. Cake Face Charlie talked about Day of Reckoning and that being one of her favorite games because she had a GameCube. I never played it. So I have nothing to say about that. I need to find it and play it.
I think I gotta get back into retro video games. I think that'd be great.
Underrated wrestling video game, Crush Hour.
If you're into that style of game, yeah. It's like a Twisted Metal, but more wrestling.
Yeah.
All right. Favorite movie of all time?
Oh, Dazed and Confused. Or New Jack City.
Dazed and Confused is like your life.
I love Dazed and Confused. It's a good movie. Yeah.
The worst movie you've ever watched in theater or at home?
The worst movie. I tried. I couldn't even watch it all the way through, but a few months ago, because it was on TV, I tried watching Cats.
Never seen it.
Don't. It is
I don't
bad.
blame you. It's got cats. I'm good.
Bad.
All right. You and me are the same age. Well, you're 30. You're 32, right?
Yeah, 32.
Yeah, and I'm 33. So same age. Grew up in the same era. Back in high school, Never Back Down came out.
Yes.
Thoughts? I just watched it again last night for like the millionth time, but I watched it with my kids this time, and they enjoyed it.
Never Back Down's the high school fighting movie, right?
Yeah.
Yes. So I actually have an interesting story about that movie. I saw it for the first time in theaters.
Were you in it as a cameo?
No.
Oh.
So I saw that came out my sophomore year of high school. I saw it in theaters with a group of upperclassmen friends of mine. And one of the guys I saw it with had literally gone in a fight and like jacked a guy up just hours beforehand. And it was his idea to see that movie.
Okay.
Like I was in the movie, I was at the mall and I got the video of him beating this kid up. And then it happened. And then he's like, hey, we're going to see Never Back Down. And then I saw watch the movie and I was like, this is literally the plot of what you just did. I don't know how I feel about this.
Favorite meal?
My dad being from New Orleans, it has to be either gumbo or red beans and rice.
Fair. I figured that was going to be an answer there.
Yeah.
Good old Asian food. Worst meal you've ever eaten, and then worst meal you've not eaten but had to unfortunately smell.
Oh, anything that was at Puget Sound Healthcare medical facility the 4 years I was living there. Yeah, I'm putting that motherfucker place on blast.
Fuck you guys. All right, fair. So that's just both questions. Both in one. If you, I'm going to say this and it's going to sound such an asshole. Besides walking, if there's anything you could have done in life differently, what would you have done? And I say walking because I feel like that's the general answer you would have given me.
Yes, because I'm a smart ass. I travel more.
Like, just wheel around or actually get on a plane and stuff?
On a plane and actually see the country.
Hey man, you're more than welcome to come to Canada anytime.
I'm trying to get a passport.
Just wheel across. I'll have sympathy.
What?
I said just wheel across. You're close enough that you could probably wheel into Vancouver or BC and be like, yo, I'm here now.
And I do have a lot of like rat friends in Vancouver.
You can be like, I just go here now. And they'll be like, okay. Weird. I'm an asshole here, guys. Like, relax.
I was waiting for it to go that way.
Hey, I'm trying to be professional, but like when I'm sitting with one of the boys having an interview, we are still being professional. I'm still conducting a proper interview, but I still got to mess around a little bit.
Yeah.
Because this is Spotlight with Shadow. This is how I am. All right. Favorite match of all time?
2 out of 3 falls, Eddie versus Dean in the ECW arena, their last night in ECW in 1995.
Okay. Fair. The match that gets overhyped, in your opinion, that's absolutely terrible.
Oh, that's a good fucking question. So just because it's not my style of wrestling, and I'm gonna piss off 2 huge fan bases here, I am not a fan of Bret versus Shawn's Iron Man match at Mania.
I'm not a fan of Bret Hart, so I agree.
That Iron Man match is just yeah.
Favorite character ever in professional wrestling, whether it be ECW, WCW, WWE, TNA.
Favorite character?
Yeah.
Ooh. I love it so much because nowadays this wouldn't be able to be booked. And it's Yuji. And it's because Nick Dinsmore is such a great wrestler if you watch his OVW stuff, but he was able to play that character so goddamn well. Like they gave him shit and he made it into a meal.
He did. He ate well. All right. Overhyped gimmick that the world loves that you absolutely hate. I'll give you leeway here. You could pick a superstar / wrestler, or you could pick a match type, or you can do both.
I think The Rock is overrated and overhyped. Like,
thank you.
And the People's Elbow and the Rock Bottom are 2 of the worst finishers ever.
We'll leave it at that. That's a great conversation. Leave a comment telling you how much you hate that comment. All right. So we've asked that. Thoughts on the current product in both AEW and WWE?
You know what? Since Triple H has taken over, I think the WWE product has been phenomenal. There's some talent I still feel like is getting underutilized, but when you only have so many hours in a show, that's tend to happen, especially when the roster's loaded. And I was getting bored with AEW's product, but honestly, now with this whole Jon Moxley, Bryan Danielson, BCC things happening, I'm kind of excited to see where that goes.
Ladies and gentlemen, keep in mind this interview is taking place on September 8th of 2024. This interview will be released later. So we are referring to the product that just happened at All Out.
Yeah. Also, AEW is featuring a lot of guys from Washington. So that's
You're here for it. Yeah, I get it.
Yeah. When Bryan Danielson, Swerve, and Nick Wayne are all being featured on TV on a regular basis, I'm a happy son of a bitch.
Isn't Darby from there too?
And Darby, yeah. Shout out the Aberdeen, Seattle, and Tacoma.
There you go. All right, we're at this mark now, buddy. I enjoyed conversating. We're gonna come back again another time and sit down and spill some tea. Now, tell the people where they can find you.
MJ Duplessis 1992 on TikTok and my Twitter and on my Instagram.
All right, what kind of merch you got going?
I have no merch as of right now. I need to get more merch.
Buddy, you need bumper stickers.
I need something, yes.
Bumper stickers, just so you can slap on as you ride by.
I was doing merch for someone, and I no longer speak to that person. So, yeah.
Me and you will talk.
Yeah.
All right. So, I'll do what Will likes to do. Is hot dog a sandwich?
Yes.
Yeah, you're an idiot. All right. That concludes this episode of Spotlight with Shadow. My guest, Mike, a.k.a. Wheelz. Don't call him that if you don't know him personally, or we will all find you. You can catch us live across the board on the platforms. Just hit our names and you'll find us.
Yeah.
With that being said, this has been Spotlight with Shadow. Peace.